Gary Barber with Dr. Scott French here. Doctor, you're talking about children, and I just have to ask this question because they're trying to push this vaccine on little kids, even like 12 and under. And because it's such a small, I use the word minute amount of kids are going to die from COVID. You gave a statistic in New Jersey. My question is, how do we handle that as, in other words, we got mom and dad listening right now going, yeah, my kids are going to be going to school, but they're wanting my kids to get vaccinated. What advice would you give mom and dad?
So I think we first have to connect the dots with the deaths. So while there were 8 deaths in New Jersey, every day we kill 3,000 babies in the womb.
That's a fact.
And half of them are women. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I've come up with this. Why are we doing this? I've not seen a study where children have killed adults. Mm-hmm. I've not seen that study. So, I'd love to look at that literature, but I doubt it's 1,500, women, So again, this idea that you're going to kill grandma, well, 1,500 of those 3,000 children would be potential grandmothers. Yeah. And so we're killing 1,500 a day of potential grandmothers. And I know that's not the number that children are killing,
of course,
with COVID. And we've learned, the science says, is that children, particularly younger children, do not spread COVID. In most of the school outbreaks, it was due to the teachers, not from the children or from the community. So again, if we're going to follow the science, let's follow the real science. And that's what I just keep coming back to. Are we looking at the real science, or are we making this up as we go? And that's just what concerns me.
Sure.
Secondly, there's with any treatment, like we said, with vaccines, medicines, whatever, you got to look at the risk benefit. And we just talked about how if virtually no children are dying of COVID unless they have a substantial comorbidity, then why would you give them a vaccine that we do not have long-term studies on?
Yeah, well said.
And it's not really a vaccine. It's a biologic, and it's been very effective, but we don't have the long-term effects of it. And we already know when they did the trials on the 12 to 15-year-olds that the males would develop myocarditis, which is an autoinflammatory disease. Mm-hmm. And that's the concern, because what this novel biologic does is it induces your cells to make foreign proteins. Well, again, we've known for a long time in medicine that there are a lot of what we call autoimmune disease, like rheumatoid arthritis, multiple sclerosis, horribly debilitating diseases that are caused by your own body attacking your own white blood cells, attacking your own body. Mm-hmm. Well, if you have your human cells making the spike protein.
I see where you're going.
And then it attaches to something, somewhere else. Will we start seeing autoimmune problems develop in children? Now, for an 80-year-old, it's not a worry because they benefit from the vaccine,
right.
And they're not going to live another 70 years. But you give it to a 12-year-old, you've got 70 years to develop an autoimmune disease. I just think we ought to step off the accelerator of destroying our children. So I just, I think, and our women. I mean, again, 1,500 of those babies are women. And so let's do what we say we want to do and protect and help the health of our women and children. And I just don't see the policies that they're doing are basically forwarding that goal. So back to the fear issue.
Fear. Mm-hmm.
So what's happened is, as I mentioned, year over year, so during the COVID pandemic, 25% increase in suicides in our youth. That's year over year. Now that's based on over a decade. In the last decade, we've increased the suicide rate by 50% or more. So we have this huge increase in suicides. And so, again, there's going to, at the end of the day, there's going to be more deaths from suicide, drug overdoses, other problems in
Yes.
children than there are from COVID. So, and again, in medicine, we have another principle of do no harm. So
Yes.
I just don't understand why we don't apply that. I also don't understand why there's no debate. We always have had debate. The medical schools, I've yet to see. I mean, there are sporadic people that have tried to debate this, but there's no debate. Well, when you're gonna attack a virus and try to do what's best, you have a debate. Who's it appropriate for? Who's this treatment appropriate for? Who's the vaccine appropriate for? So I would say for children that there's no evidence that the vaccine will help the children. There's no evidence that the children spread the virus, so that can't be the reason you're doing it. And we don't have any evidence that children are killing adults by spreading it. We do know that people do spread it. I mean, we saw evidence in New York when they were sending those hospitalized in New York hospitals, sending them to nursing homes. Yes, more people in the nursing homes died, but that was spread by adults, not by children going to those nursing homes. So I just don't understand why we don't follow science.
Well, I'm with you. I don't understand it either, doctor, but I have had other doctors